Well, we're waiting.
Welcome into the Rundown, the Monday edition here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. I tell you what, man, Monday is your I told you so day, your reaction day, whatever it is you want to go with. That's what we have here for Monday. No Gamecock game over the weekend, but we did have a lot of matchups that were very interesting and can kind of tell you some things. Georgia established their dominance. We knew they were a good football team, but they beat the holy hell out of Florida and may have ended up sending Dan Mullen out of a job. Kentucky is terrible. Thank you for that, Brandon. We thought that Kentucky might be a team that could do a little something, but they may finish behind Tennessee in the East. Yeah, that may happen. And by the way, Wake Forest is a top 10 football team. If I'd have told you that at the beginning of the season, you probably wouldn't have bought it. How about the fact that Auburn is on the cusp of being a team that could finish in the top 10? Yeah, we've got all of that. Let's head out to the phones. And of course, we always head out there on Reaction Monday. Here it is, 803-978-1832. And out to the phones we go. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Who have Georgia play, Rob? Who have Georgia play? They ain't played nobody.
Sir, with all due respect, you need to come on the program with your hat in your hand. You promised me that Florida was going to roll them, and then that didn't happen.
Florida going to take care of Georgia, Rob.
Okay.
Florida going to take care of Georgia, Rob. They ain't played nobody. Who would they play? Rob, it is begging Megan. It is not
Very
Hollywood.
Good,
I worked on that impression all weekend, by the way.
Well, by the way, I'm just being completely honest. No jokes aside, you got me. I honestly thought it was him. I'm not joking. I honestly thought it was him. That's why I said, come on the program with your hat in your hand, because you promised that you would roll through, and you didn't.
You know, I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
If you worked on it all weekend, that's a heck of a compliment.
Hey, real quick, I know it just happened. Have you gotten news about the Mullen presser today?
I have gotten some stuff on that. I didn't get a chance to roll tape on it, but yeah, we'll be researching that as we go along here.
Yeah, this guy's on his way out, Rob. And I don't say that with a joyful heart. I wish Florida would keep him for the next 20 years, but something's not right there. He's either the dumbest human being on planet Earth, or he wants out. And as I'm looking now Feinbaum's doing something on that presser.
Well, actually, I've got it. I've got a piece of it here. Hold on, I'll read a piece of it to you. Mullen was asked about recruiting. The moment that it was uttered by a reporter, Mullen's face twitched. This, of course, is from 247 Sports. Let's give them credit here. We're in the season now. We'll do recruiting after the season. When it gets to recruiting time, we can talk about recruiting. Mullen looked to a Florida employee off screen, practically begging for help out of the scene as the reporter attempted to ask an unrelated question. Next question, Mullen interrupted. So Mullen is basically, I don't want to talk about recruiting. Please, Mr. Assistant SID, get me the hell out of here. That's basically what his press conference was today.
It is. And I just want to throw, I know you're in the Columbia area, but you guys don't know. But the pompous, arrogant attitude when they hired this guy was, hey, we got another smart guy at Florida. We're going to win multiple natties. Georgia has this dumb redneck coach who, by the way, I believe they're 4 out of the last 5 wins over Florida now.
I've got audio of some guy calling him an idiot that's not me. I don't know for sure if that'll hold up in court or not, but it's out there.
Well, obviously, you've come up with some computer-generated BS that didn't actually happen. But I understand that's the game you play. But no, it's the attitude, and now it's all this house of cards is now crumbling down on Florida, and you are getting exactly what you deserve. And my friend, this Saturday, Go Gamecocks. Hey, 43-18, Rob.
Have a wonderful day, sir. Beg and Megan calling the program. And yeah, I normally I like to spar a little bit with Beg and Megan. I really do. He's fun to kick around a little bit. I know he's sitting around there in his his Blondie t-shirt. He's got like a Blondie retro t-shirt, I'm sure. Now, he's probably got the actual t-shirt. I mean, he was what, 30 in 1980 when they won the national title. I'm pretty sure that's how old he is. He's up there in years, but he definitely has felt the pain that the Georgia fans feel. And you know what? At this juncture, I hate to be the guy to put this out there, but it's looking more and more like the Atlanta Braves are going to win the World Series, even though they lost last night, and the Georgia Bulldogs are going to win the national title. I mean, basically, the college football world and the world of baseball is all going to be the state of Georgia. And it's going to make a lot of folks angry. It really, really is. Let's head out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Rob.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Let me tell you like this, man. So this is a reaction from your show at the end of last week, right?
All right.
Guy called up talking about Willie Taggart. You know, Florida State giving Willie Taggart the job because he was black, all right?
Yeah.
Now, discounting Willie Taggart had a track record from Western Kentucky. He turned that train wreck program around. He then took a train wreck in South Florida, turned it around, which beat the Gamecocks in a freaking bowl game. Took the Oregon job. They had a losing season. They had a winning season the next season, right? And, I mean, yeah, he got the Florida State job, and he didn't do well. And I think I wrote on your YouTube page, right? Mm-hmm. I listened to you live on YouTube, and you and Jackpot,
right,
every now and again.
Sure.
On live. So my thinking is this: what? Shane Beamer got the job as a freaking special teams coordinator.
Right.
And it ain't a black man in the world that'll make a jump like that. And it's just weird that somebody would bring that up. And right there in Columbia, you got a guy with no experience. His best calling card was that he was an assistant coach under Spurrier, Kirby Smart, and Lincoln Riley. And people in Columbia are wondering why the program's falling on their face. Anytime they play a team with a pulse, they've gotten pulverized. It's strange to me that someone would bring that up right there in Columbia.
Well, I appreciate you listening to the show, man. I don't necessarily completely agree with you. I think Willie Taggart kind of ran Florida State into the ground a little bit. He wasn't really effective at Oregon.
Oregon had a losing season before he got there. He had the one season and it was a winning season. I mean, it's not a losing season. You're right. He ran Florida State into the ground, but he had a track record of turning teams around. But versus a guy who gets the SEC job with no track record at all.
Okay, well, and I have to ask, and Mr. Boogie Online, what exactly is your point that you're trying to make here, sir? That
it is that a black guy would never get that opportunity ever. It's a Charlie Strong who was a freaking great coordinator. Will Muschamp got an opportunity earlier in his career than Charlie Strong did, and Charlie Strong was a better coordinator. It's just, I mean, for someone in Columbia to bring that up when the evidence is right there in their faces, it's strange. You would call out Willie Taggart, but not call out Shane Beamer is what I get at. That's the point.
Well, respectfully, Shane Beamer is in his first season at South Carolina, and he's having to rebuild from the ground up from an awful Will Muschamp-led program. So, I mean, it's kind of 6 and 1, half dozen of another. I mean, Florida State had a heck of a lot more going for them when Willie Taggart went down there than South Carolina has for them right now. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment.
Guy with no experience got the job. No, not even coordinator experience.
Well, hold on, but why do you think that he got the job on that with the no experience? I mean, let's just be honest about it. South Carolina wasn't exactly a destination point. He wanted to be here. They pay the women's basketball coach more than they pay him, and that's an absolute fact. Okay, and I think money had a little bit to do with it because they paid Will Muschamp $17 million to go and be Georgia's special teams coordinator. So money had a little bit to do with that as well here with Shane Beamer. And I'm not saying Shane Beamer is going to be great. Let's be completely honest about that. He's been a sunshine pumper, making us think that the world's absolutely awesome with what he's done, but you have to give him more time, and they got him at a value because of how much they're paying him.
Shane Beamer's going to be out of a job by the end of year 3.
Yeah, well, that's a great prediction from you, but that's not an actual fact yet, and we got to see what he does over time.
They played horrible against any team with a pulse. Any team with a pulse. Kentucky ran with 3 turnovers, still won that game. And they ran for 255 yards in the game. Tennessee blew them out of the by the end of the first half. Any team with a pulse, they've gotten pulverized.
I appreciate your call, and once again, I appreciate you listening. I just completely disagree with you. I think that the stuff that happened with Willie Taggart, he got an opportunity at 2 Power 5 schools and failed. And here's the other thing, too. And you know what? I was going to save this for a little bit later on, but I'm absolutely sick of everything in sports now being politicized to the point where it's just sad. You know, you used to be able to go to a game and you could sit next to somebody, and if you're a Republican, that's great. If they're a Democrat, that's great. You both can be fans of the same team and be awesome about that. Sports used to be the thing that guides us together. I read last night something about the Atlanta Braves and how now the agenda of certain folks is that if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, you're a racist. You're a bigoted person because you're an Atlanta Braves fan. I became an Atlanta Braves fan when I was 7 years old, staying at my grandpa's house and watching games on TBS. Okay? We don't know anything about racism. And for people to sit here and say, oh, the Braves have lost their link to the black community, which I'm going to post some of this article on my blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com shortly. I'm not posting it there to get hits for it. I'm posting it there to make a statement about what's being said and how people are basically trying to run the Braves up the flagpole during the World Series. They wanted to do it yesterday because they thought Atlanta was going to clinch yesterday. Okay? And I don't like to bring politics into the show, but the reality is that there is a good section of people that don't want the Braves to win because they haven't changed their name, even though I can show you where several Native American tribes have point blank said, doesn't bother us. Doesn't bother us. Now, is there a set of people that don't like the Braves and their what they call themselves and the tomahawk chop? Yes, that's true. There's some of that too. But have we gotten to a point in society where if one little bit of people are upset about something, we have to change everything? Under that knowledge, you know what? I don't like Nick Saban. He shouldn't be at Alabama. I don't like the way he beats the hell out of people all the time. Why can't we start a movement like that? It's just as ludicrous in my mind. It's absolutely silly. How about we go with the stuff with Willie Taggart on this front? He was not a good coach. Was not a good coach. 2-time failure. He joins the Will Muschamp Club. And that's just the way that it is. Ruined basically 2 programs. It doesn't have to be about race, sir. It really doesn't. And once again, I think the only color that matters, and I've said this before and I will absolutely say it again, is green. and I mean that with every ounce of my soul, winning and green are the only things that matter, and the green is money. If you're making money, you'll be good to go. You make money by winning. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Out to the phone lines we go. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, this is the Biscuit.
Hello,
I feel like
Biscuit.
I needed to kind of respond to that guy since I'm the one who called in and said that about Willie Taggart.
You feel free, sir. Just remember you're on the radio.
Yeah, this is Biscuit PG-13. No, I mean, the gentleman who called in, I don't know what his name was. He made some good points. The reason why it's different is just because Florida State is the one who made that announcement that they were hiring a minority. And to my knowledge, they didn't interview any other minority candidates, as I understand. So that was basically, they said it, and that was the reason they hired him.
Respectfully, Biscuit,
Now,
and I'm not trying to cut you off here. Respectfully, Biscuit, though, they shouldn't have to announce they're hiring him or interviewing a minority candidate. I'm interviewing candidates for our coaching job.
Exactly.
No one cares what color they are. No one does.
Exactly.
That's what it should be.
Exactly. That's the point. Is that's what was shocking about what they were doing. It was like they were playing this woke angle just to sell people and show people what great people they were. You know, and it doesn't work that way. Hire the best person for the job. If they had thought that based on the credentials that the gentleman who called in a moment ago described, where he had turned around Western Kentucky and then had a good season with South Florida, but he was 7-5 at Oregon, which I didn't think was like the greatest selling point to hire him at a major call. I mean, Florida State. Well,
compared to, and you're comparing that 7-5 record to what UCLA's coach had Oregon on that role there before he went to the NFL. Remember that. People seem to forget that.
No, I will say this. He does bring up some good points. Sure. I agree with him. Some of these, and regardless of race, but like some of these retread coaches that we have over and over and again that people throw money at, I don't understand that. That's their own program's decision. That's up to the AD in that school, and they have to live with that. But yeah, you're right. Like Will Muschamp initially at Florida, hey, he was everyone wanted him. He was the defensive coordinator at Texas. He had worked his way up, and he was considered at that time the hottest, commodity in assistant coaches. So initially, it was a good hire. Now I question South Carolina rehiring him. That wasn't really probably the best idea if you've already failed.
Gamecock fans they regret that too. So there's that. But
I mean, actually,
look, I think that a program that is hungry to bring themselves up from the toilet will hire anyone, regardless of what color they are. I get so frustrated when I see that. And I get frustrated too when, and I hate to bring this back up again, but now because I wear my Atlanta Braves hat, I am a racist in the eyes of people. I've been a Braves fan since I was 7 years old, and I could watch baseball, but I've been deemed a racist. I have 35 years of being a Braves fan, but I'm a racist now. That is absolutely disgusting.
I am too. I've been around. I was at the 1991 parade.
Well, we'll just band together.
I was shaking Deion Sanders' hand at the parade, in 1991. So I guess I'm one too.
We'll band together arm in arm and just be racist with our Braves hats. And you know what? I hope Atlanta wins.
Absurd,
the reality is that America's team should be the Atlanta Braves because of the fact that the stuff with Houston. You think Altuve, the whole thing? I mean, there's the story out there where Altuve had the something under his uniform to tell him what pitch was coming. You think that guy should be allowed to go out there and still play baseball, yet Pete Rose can't get into the Hall of Fame? I mean, baseball is hypocrisy at its finest.
Yes, and you know what's amazing? What they've done now? They've twisted this into the good versus evil, but they've rotated the teams. Houston were the cheaters. Atlanta is the story. Atlanta is a legendary story when you consider what they've been through this year and how far they've come and what they're on the brink of right now. It's an absolute miracle. I don't know that in baseball history, and it's over 100 years of existence, has a team lost so many good players and come out on top. I dare say on top, but at least on top of the NL. I mean, losing what was supposed to be the next Barry Bonds, right? Ronald Acuna going out.
Right.
And then you losing pitchers, and then Marcell Ozuna being out, and all this stuff. And then they make all these deals, and they pull in these guys that other teams didn't want, and they just clicked together and worked out. It's an unbelievable story. But now the narrative is let's get rid of the chop because it's racist.
I'm beyond frustrated with that, and I've heard rumors that they want to rename the Braves the Hammers in honor of Hammer and Hank Aaron. You know what? And I don't want to be disrespectful to Hammer and Hank Aaron, but they're the Atlanta Braves. They've been the Atlanta Braves forever. This whole thing with the Washington Redskins, there was a lot more outrage about the Washington Redskins within the Native American community than there is with the Atlanta Braves. And then they bring all of this up right now at the point where Atlanta is going to most likely win their World Series title and try to tarnish the crown that's there. What would have been great is if last night the commissioner of baseball had to walk out onto that field at Truist Park and give that World Series trophy to that team in front of that Atlanta crowd. They would have booed him out of the stadium. It would have been the best television that we would have seen in 2021, and I would have absolutely loved it. Every single second of it.
Yeah, while the fans were doing the chop, that would have been a great way to finish that out. Yeah, I wish they would have closed it out too. And I after the grand slam, I don't know how many teams go 4-0 in the first inning and end up losing, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
We will not have negativeness from you, sir. You will not jinx my Bravos. We're not going to have it. All right. I appreciate you calling, my biscuit. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
All right. We're supposed to talk about football today, but I had that stuff in my my repertoire there to talk about with the Atlanta Braves. And of course, heartache last night as they lost. I tell you what, I've been so invested in this World Series with the Braves playing in it. And by the way, the numbers for people that are watching baseball are off the chart. Go and check them out. You don't believe me? Go and look. I think they're up like 76%, some crazy number like that. And we've heard forever, baseball is down right now, and the game is too slow, and we have all of that. And it's like, you know what? If you get the right teams in the playoffs, you get the right teams in the World Series, people are going to watch. There's always this whole thing about the Red Sox and the Yankees, but you know what? When the Braves are in the World Series, it's an entire region that watches. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, heard you talking about the Braves.
Yes, sir.
Is there any chance that Dale Murphy gets into the Hall of Fame?
No. I love Dale Murphy, but I don't think he has the numbers.
Man, he had a lot of years being an all-star.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them.
That's true.
No off-the-field problems either.
That's true too, man. But I don't think that's going to work.
You don't think he's going to get in?
No, sir.
Do you ever see Pete Rose getting in?
Not while he's alive. I think when he's dead,
while he's alive, you think he's dead?
Yeah. He'll be after he's dead. Then they'll, Major League Baseball.
Chicken out.
Yeah, they don't want to do that. And it's like by the way, I can't think of a good commissioner, NFL commissioner, Major League Baseball commissioner, NBA commissioner. They're all a bunch of eunuchs. Every single one of them. It's just sad. Anyway.
Well, and talk about the Braves name. There's a lot of high schools that are the Braves.
Yeah, and they've changed a lot of them. I mean, remember Newberry used to be what, the Indians or the Warriors or whatever, and then they changed to the Wolves, and and it's bowing to the pressure of some folks. But I think that, in my opinion, the PC police, they are a traveling circus. What they do is they'll set up for a while. They'll have their 2-week thing where they come in and they run their mouths, and then you know what they do? They pack up their Ferris wheel, they get their one-eyed freaks out, and then they leave. And then you go about your merry way. That's the way that you should look at these things. And that's kind of what the Braves have tried to do.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Back out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Big Barney Ross here.
What's up, buddy?
I wanted to ask you. Now, I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan and naturally a Cincinnati Reds fan. And I wanted to say this, Pete Rose, let him in.
I agree.
I'll say it again. Hall of Fame, that's a shame. But I got to ask you this, though.
Sure.
Turner Broadcasting is no longer in Atlanta Braves business and sabotaging their chances of just greatness. Do you feel it's better now without Ted Turner behind the driving force of all this, or would you still like to have the old Turner Field back and that situation going on? But I'll get off here and go Big Blue.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Let's get one more call here. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, it's Ray. How you doing, man?
Hey, Ray. What's up, buddy?
Hey, well, I grew up the biggest Dale Murphy fan there was, and
sure,
I'll tell you, and what killed Murph, if you ask me, those first few years, he was just knocking the cover off the ball. I mean, he was probably the best player in the game by far. Well, all of a sudden, the pitchers, they just quit pitching to him, and he'd get so frustrated. You know, Murph's 6'4", and that length and everything he has, they would throw the ball 6 inches off the plate, 2 inches from the ground, and he couldn't lay off of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Murph, don't swing at those pitches, because if he doesn't swing at those pitches, his on base percentage is probably going to be close to 400. His batting average is probably going to be 290, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. But being he has a 265 batting average, because he just couldn't lay off those pitches because nobody wanted to pitch to him. I always felt bad for him, but man, you just got to have better play discipline. And I think his play discipline is why he probably will not get in the Hall. But I just kind of want to throw that in there. And one last thing, Rob, with Pete Rose, I think it's just funny how professional sports is going towards. And can I say the name of the gaming place or whatever that you see in their stadiums?
Yeah.
FanDuel and all that. I mean, this is betting. So really, in baseball, if they haven't gone to it, they're going to go to it. And I have nothing against, gaming or betting or whatever. But when baseball goes into FanDuel, they start, you see the names on the stadiums, and maybe it already is. I don't know. Then I think they're being the biggest hypocrites towards Rose. But anyway, that's just my piece. Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it. All right. To our caller beforehand, he was asking about about Ted Turner. You know, when Turner owned the Braves, I think the Braves were a little bit better off. They're owned by Liberty Media now. I, for one, and this is just me, I don't think that I didn't think there was anything wrong with Turner Field where it was. Okay. Now, the city of Atlanta, which a lot of people get upset because the Braves were moved from Turner Field out to Cobb County to Truist Park. The city of Atlanta was supposed to build things up around that stadium, and they didn't. So if I am an owner of a franchise and I have a stadium that's down, let's just be honest, in a not safe part of Atlanta, we're going to move. If you have the opportunity to move, you move. Simple as that. So I think that there was nothing wrong with Turner Field, nothing wrong with it at all, but they had to move. So there's that. 803-978-1832. We got to take a break here. When we come back, how important are the Braves to the community that follow this show for sure? Today's supposed to be Reaction Monday. I've had one caller talking about Georgia knocking around Florida. Yeah, we'll take your football calls. But as of course, with the Braves in the World Series, we want to talk about that. We can get into that as well. 803-978-1832. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Yo, I didn't mean to scream at y'all in the room over there. I don't know if it mixes higher than that. Sorry about that. I just got pissed. My fault about that. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I just get tired of just seeing stuff like that and being painted into this hole that, hey, you know what? If you're a Braves fan, you're a racist. Get the hell out of here. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, Beggin. Yeah, where the hell is Hollywood? I appreciate the super chat too there, Beggin. Thank you very much. I had all this stuff written out for football. Look at all these notes for football. It's like I write books about football stuff. And then there we go from there. Jay, I don't know why your comments are. I mean, I'm not moderating YouTube, so I don't know what's happening there, brother. I'm not blocking your stuff. I'll let you know that. Copious notes. I swear I'm not blocking him. One of you admins over there may be doing it, but I'm not. I don't look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jackpot does he selected the monitors and all that for YouTube. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just I can do the Facebook stuff, but I don't do the YouTube stuff. Jerome, you need to fix that. If you're over there, if you're a mod, go over there and look. Because I can't do anything about it. If I were going to block people, there'd be people I would block just for silliness. But it. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Boogie. I know Boogie and I think Jerome are admins. I can't remember the other ones. That's why the whole, Jackpot and I do a show together, and it's like he does that end of it, and I do the other, and it's like I'm not blocking you. I would block Bluegrass Sports Media for some of the. Did he pay off his bets in this room? I hope he did. I know he did one. I hope he paid that off. Don't text and drive, fool. What's wrong with you? They damn well better. I'm going to be an upset individual. Mad as hell. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. My name is Rob Sanders. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and according to several folks, if you're a Braves fan, you're a racist. I got deemed that when I was 7. Imagine that. Anyway, some other football notes from the weekend. We mentioned Georgia and how they handle Florida. I believe Georgia has wrapped up the SEC East, and now the waiting game starts. Because I think that there is especially after his performance on Saturday, Stetson Bennett is a guy that can get you there, but I don't know if he can get you over there. So we're going to have to figure out, or I'm not going to have to figure that out. That's got to be done by the Georgia coaching staff. What's going to go on with their quarterback position? Are they going to go with JT Daniels? What are they going to do? We have to figure that out. So Georgia being the best team in the country, they have questions. Isn't that weird? Because I think they are the best team in the country, but there are still questions about them. So they are an interesting set to watch. Also, some other notes from the weekend. Auburn got the win over Ole Miss. Kind of knocked some of that what is it? The chrome off of Lane Kiffin down there. So there's that. I thought that was a really good game played by Harsin and his guys as they get the win over Ole Miss. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on, Rob?
Hey, man, I didn't think that you would show up, brother, but I'm glad that you called the program. Yeah, because, your team got knocked around.
Big and Megan, he had me fooled. Who is this guy? The game over with.
No, well, he brother, he sounded like you. He sounded like you. I actually bought it.
I say he either had this thing recorded or something.
It's on the podcast, man. You can check it out. It'll be up at 5 o'clock today.
I will. But listen,
there you go.
I'll go ahead and take my hat off to Georgia. They did what they had to do to beat us. It's all about that.
Hold on. Did what they had to do. They beat you senseless, sir. It's not a did what they had to do.
They beat us senseless.
They won by 27 points.
Listen, we gave the game away in the second quarter.
Okay.
You seen it was 3-0. We intercept the ball. The first thing he did is bring the ball out of the end zone.
Sure.
They should have kept the ball in the end zone. Ain't no doubt about it. I'm not making no excuses. They beat us.
They did beat you. Senseless.
But listen.
Sure.
What's going on with the other quarterback? Is he hurting?
Which one?
They had a big lead on him. Why they didn't put him in the game? Give him some work.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't have to. I mean, they won by 27. They didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna ride,
they could have put you in at quarterback when they're up by 27. They'd have been fine.
Hey, listen, if you're gonna ride with Stetson Bennett,
they're riding pretty.
JT Dane.
They've ridden pretty far.
I ain't sold on that guy.
Well, I'm not sold on him either, but they've ridden him to number 1 in the country right now.
Well, it is what it is. But I ain't sold on him.
Well, since I have you here, sir, what's the deal with Dan Mullen, like getting upset when people ask him about recruiting and trying to get SIDs to get him off the stage? What's going on with that?
Hey, Dan Mullen be fine. He's not in trouble at Florida. Y'all can read what you want.
Well, that's
Dan Mullen be fine.
He'll be coaching in the NFL next year or somewhere else. I don't think he'll be at Florida next
year. I doubt it.
Well,
I doubt it.
Well, I appreciate you calling the show, but
hey, I'm not one thing I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna hide. First thing when I came back from the game,
sure.
First thing my mama told me, how about them dogs? Because she's a Georgia Bulldog fan, so I ain't nothing I can say.
Are you a Florida fan to go against your mom? To heck with you, Mom. I'm gonna be a Florida fan. Is that why you're a Florida fan?
No. My mom's from Georgia.
Right.
She was born in Georgia.
So you became a Florida fan just to make Mom
I was
mad?
born in Florida.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Florida.
Okay.
I was born in Jacksonville, okay?
All right.
And I've always been a Gator. Ain't gonna stay. I'm born a Gator. I'm gonna die a Gator.
Okay.
No doubt.
Sure enough. All right. What about the Gamecocks this week? What's gonna happen there?
I don't care. My season's over with anyway. I don't care. I'm going, but I don't care.
Fair enough, sir.
It is what it is.
All right.
We're 4-4.
Appreciate you calling the program, man. Thank you. Normally he tells me, "Oh, we're gonna roll them. Oh, we're gonna roll them." Yeah, how'd that happen? That didn't work out too well. Vegan says if his predictions have been wrong this year. Yeah, he was right about what was he right about? I don't remember him being right about much. I think he said they were going to roll Kentucky. They didn't really roll Kentucky. He was right about Vanderbilt. He said they were going to roll Vanderbilt. They rolled Vanderbilt. So there's that. Shout out to Hollywood for calling the program because I don't think that was going to happen. I thought he was going to, go off into the sunset. So we shall see. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Auburn, of course, as I said, was doing their thing and got the win over Ole Miss. And now it's kind of setting up where Auburn and Alabama, the Iron Bowl, may be for the right to go and play Georgia in the SEC championship game. And you know what? I am the king of moonwalking around here. All I need is the Michael Jackson hat. I thought Brian Harsin was going to be a disaster. I thought Harsin basically getting Mike Bobo to come basically in the middle of the night and leave South Carolina and go there. And who was it? Tracy Rocker also going down there too, not even telling people, hey, I'm leaving, and then heading down there. I thought that was going to blow up in his face. And not so much. Not so much at all. All right, so we'll take more calls when we come back. A couple of other notes here on the rundown. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. If you think that being a Braves fan makes makes me a racist, then don't follow my Twitter feed because it's a lot of Braves things. I probably tweet at least 3 or 4 things a day about the Atlanta Braves, so sorry about that. All right, well, anyway, quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's episode of The Rundown. You are listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400, of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Podcast is up at 5 o'clock today. More of The Rundown, we return. Look, if you're expecting me, Megan, to talk up the Clemson Tigers right now after watching their game on Saturday, good luck with that. I am hoping, and I know this sounds silly, but this is where the season is. I'm hoping that they go to the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl because that's in Charlotte, and I can go up and cover it, and I only have to drive an hour. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But if you're looking for me to talk up Clemson right now, not so much. They're going to have to make some changes. I don't know if you guys saw or not, but who was it? Oh, Uiagalelei eyed a guy down and threw an interception. And when they asked him about it, he goes, "That's the play Tony, the offensive coordinator, called." When they asked Sweeney about it, Sweeney said it was on the wide receiver. It was his fault. I mean, it's just, I think they built that kid up to be so much. I think he's the first casualty of NIL. I really believe that. He's the first casualty of NIL where he got, 6 figures to eat Bojangles and then hasn't been worth anything. And he's a nice kid. He's a nice kid. It's not anything to do with that. It's just maybe he doesn't have it. You know what? Megan is right. It's named after a condiment. I want a Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl t-shirt. I'm not joking. If I go to the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, I'm buying a Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl t-shirt. Billy, you are correct, sir. Look, there are throws that aren't the quarterback's fault. They can get tipped at different sets and stuff like that, but it's just silly. I don't think the Manning kid is going to come to Clemson. I think he's going to either, I think that he's got offers everywhere. I don't think he wants to go and try to be the next best Manning at said school. So would not surprise me if he ended up at Georgia. That would probably be the place that I would think. And then Alabama's in the mix too. So it's not all of my t-shirts, sir. Welcome into the Rundown. Welcome back to the Rundown as I'm losing my gizzards here today on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. By the way, a couple of notes really quick here. South Carolina's matchup with Mizzou is the 4:00 matchup next week. And I've determined that the SEC puts their best matchup at 3:30 and their worst matchup at 4:00. I truly believe that on the SEC network at 4:00. They don't want to take away from their big matchup at 3:30. The Clemson UConn game is a high noon kickoff. Clemson, this will be all of the what's the best term? All of the press box super friend folks, the folks that are all like, "Oh, we love this team. We love this team so much. We can't tell you that, but we can't tell you we love this team, but we do." Those folks, Clemson will score 50 points in that game by just rolling the football out there. and they'll talk about, the Clemson offense is back. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. UConn is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And we'll get into that game next week. Clemson's playing a Louisville team this week on the road that if they don't have their stuff together, they could get popped up there too. So that's that. We'll have more on that this week. Got a guy that covers Louisville. We'll have him in too. We didn't get into the Kentucky game much, but Kentucky went down to Mississippi State and they got the candy corn. That's basically what it boiled down to, as they got popped by Mississippi State 31-17, turning the ball over a good bit. And, the thoughts of Kentucky being that team that's like right there and, man, they can challenge. Then all of a sudden, Georgia hammers them, and then they play Mississippi State, and now they've lost 2 in a row, and they're sitting at a flat 6-2. A couple of other notes from the SEC this weekend. Mizzou wins over Vanderbilt. That means that Vanderbilt is going to finish in the basement. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I thought that Clark Lee would get them a little bit more respectable, but it's going to take some time. It really, really is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We mentioned the job openings that are out there. I think we got to throw Dan Mullen into the mix. I think he's going to be gone. Now, the question is, does he want to coach in college or does he want to coach in the NFL? Because remember, there are going to be people that want him to go to the NFL. There's going to be an owner that's like, you know what? Look what this guy's done. Yeah. He needs to have an NFL job. Jimmy with a good point here. First time Wake Forest was ever in the top 10 in football. Look, you got to start thinking with Wake Forest a little bit here. If they win out, do you look at them as someone that's going to make the college football playoff? They basically played Clemson's schedule that Clemson has every year. Their non-con's not necessarily as good as it has been, but they played Clemson's schedule. If they're an undefeated Power 5 team, are you going to tell them no? And there's a lot of football left too. They're underdogs this weekend. So there's that too. But yeah, you got to give Wake Forest credit. It's the first time in program history they are in the top 10. Randall says, no, Rob, Wake isn't going to make the playoffs. Stop. I'm just giving you their resume. Just giving you their resume. Which way does the playoff committee go? And there's Mark Packer says something about Wake Forest that makes a lot of sense. Wake Forest is Switzerland. Wake Forest is Switzerland. Everyone loves Wake Forest. Smallest Power 5 program in the country. And by the way, people looking for a coach, go and get Dave Clawson. Look what he's done. But you know what? Dave Clawson's probably not going to go anywhere because Wake got like a $30 million donation, and they've upgraded their facilities to the point where they're ranked second in the conference behind Clemson. So as far as facilities go, they're going to be, they're near the top of the ACC. Now, having a good showing on the field, I don't think they're going to finish, in the college football playoff discussion, but they could get a New Year's Six bowl. I don't think many people would argue with that. I think they're going to drop a game somewhere, but they could get a New Year's Six bowl. And when they get that and people can see them on the national front, as long as they play respectfully, their recruiting numbers are going to go up. And you look at the guys that they put into the NFL, lots of defensive linemen, basically. Boogie, what was his last name? I can't remember. Boogie Basham. Boogie Basham last season was developed at Wake Forest from a 2-star recruit and got his way into the NFL draft. So there's that. Dave Clawson should be given a chance. We'll have him. We'll have folks on about Wake Forest when Clemson plays them later on this season. Fireball says they hardly have any fans. You're right. You're right. But you know what? When you start winning, you get more fans. Those bandwagon folks, they jump on quick. Anyway, on the program this week, we got a beat writer from Louisville to discuss the Louisville matchup with Clemson. We also will have someone on from Florida to talk about the Florida Gators and what's going on down there. Because Florida right now, especially after today's press conference, they are a tire fire, dumpster fire, whatever. That's what the Florida program is right now, sitting at 4-4. I know Hollywood earlier was saying, oh, wow, they've got, Dan Mullen's not going anywhere. Well, we shall see. We shall see. By the way, a couple of other notes from the weekend. TCU fired Gary Patterson. I don't understand what was going on with that. Or Gary Patterson left. Gary Patterson's a heck of a coach, too. It's funny. They have an actual statue of Gary Patterson on the campus. And for some reason, he gets fired. I don't know what happened there. And then I tweeted out about something, and let me make sure I bring it up really quick here before we run out of time. We've been waiting on what's going on with Tennessee and the sanctions that are most likely coming against them. But the NCAA announced on Friday that right after, press time, basically, that UCF failed to monitor the program under Charlie Strong. They get 3 years probation, fined $10,000, plus Strong gets a 1-game suspension if he returns to college. But we can't get a ruling on Tennessee, where the investigation shows they were stuffing money into McDonald's bags. And I'm not trying to throw Tennessee under the bus. This is more about the NCAA and how silly they are. How silly they are. And by the way, if you're going to give me probation for cheating and fine me $10,000 and that's all that I get, it's going to encourage me to cheat more. Seriously. If you're going to slap me on the wrist like that, why wouldn't I cheat? In a world where lots of folks are cheating anyway, why wouldn't you cheat? It's a mess, the NCAA is. And until we figure out something different, we're going to continue to see stuff like this. Mr. Boogie with a good point. Certain schools only get punished. Yeah, it's more interesting to punish USF than it is to go after a Tennessee program or North Carolina basketball. Great show today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on The Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. You're exactly right. Why not? I mean, $10,000. $10,000 and 3 years probation. They didn't lose any scholarships. We're just going to watch what you do, and you give us $10,000. Ridiculous. They basically find them snack money. Seriously, the snack budget for the football team for the season. That's what they find them. NCAA is absolutely terrible. All right, same time tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later. I know I got to I'm working on getting more time. They're talking about syndicating the show. I don't like, I don't know, man. I want to do that, but I don't. It's one of those things you make that jump. It's like, whoa, big time. But I do other stuff around here too. So we'll see. Appreciate y'all, man. We'll see you later on.